intentional, we understand ourselves. We have a deeper level of awareness of where we come from, where are our triggers, where do we tend to judge, what tends to bring us back into a place of fear instead of love. Welcome back to one's journey of unwinding the mind and, of course, your daily microdose. Now tune in to the latest episode of One's Journey. Today, I want to talk about intentional living. Intentional living. What does that mean, Ashley? Well, in reality, everything we're doing here in Big Miracle Energy is all about intentional living. But I think sometimes we don't realize it's that. So I thought it might be a good idea for us to talk a little bit more about what intentional living is and how we can just bring more awareness to that. What I see intentional living is the word, right? It's really being intentional with your actions, with your decisions, all those things. And if we were living in the ego illusion and being intentional, it would look like lots of things. Right? Because within the illusion, it's very chaotic, but it's so simple. What the type of intentional living I'm talking about is checking yourself. Am I coming from a place of fear or love? In any decision, action, reaction you are making, and even if you don't do it beforehand, you always have the ability after. Because it's an intentional muscle. We're activating the muscle, so we want to activate it no matter when to reiterate the importance of being intentional in our actions. Because it really goes to our ability of discipline and really being able to shift from a place of fear to love in the moment. And when we're intentional, we understand ourselves. We have a deeper level of awareness of where we come from, where are our triggers, where do we tend to judge, what tends to bring us back into a place of fear instead of love, which really helps us to experience the outcome. So Ken talks about that people ask him the question, how do I know if it's the Holy Spirit or my higher self or the ego? And his response is, first of all, it's not a good question. The question right there has it loaded because you are seeing that the ego even exists, but also that essentially you will know from the outcome. Because if the outcome is something of separation or judgment or pain or suffering, then you came from the place of the ego. But if we're not getting intentional and looking at even prior or after the outcome to understand, was this a place of the ego, of fear, or a place of the Holy Spirit, high self, or love, then we're just going to keep repeating that pattern. So when we're living intentionally, we're doing things intentionally from a place of love. And if we come from a place of fear or the ego, we are intentional about understanding it and bringing awareness. And I say this in every single video, but curiosity. Curiosity is what allows you to become intentional. Because otherwise, before you become curious, you're essentially sleepwalking. You're living by other narratives. You are living from a place of fear and you aren't even aware. So there's no ability to be intentional in your actions. And intentional living also allows for the opportunities of forgiveness to be seen and acted upon in the moment instead of them having to keep repeating themselves over and over again, because we're intentionally bringing awareness. To me, intentional living today is the only way of living. I think back to when I didn't live intentionally and life was happening to me and I just did things because I did things and I didn't know why. It's really when I felt like, what is the purpose here? And at one point multiple times actually attempted to take my own life. Just one was a more significant experience. And I often would get to the end of the week and be like, why? What? Because I was just operating from this place of automatic and sleeping and fear. But when I've shifted to intentional, even when I do come from a place of fear or the ego, because I've intentionally unpacked it, I see the purpose in everything. Of course, the purpose is for us to remember so that we can go back home and to practice forgiveness. So it's usually always the root. But if I wasn't intentionally bringing awareness and curiosity, I wouldn't see those things. And I would see the small things as taking out the garbage or going to the grocery store or brushing my teeth. But now when you're intentional about it, you can see the beauty in the small. I have a client and she's always like, it's the all in the small and the small and the all. And it's so true because you can find the smallest thing and realize how impactful it is. Example, these videos. I'll be honest, like I built Big Miracle Energy envisioning this massive community and massive impact because I've always felt that way since I was a little girl, that I was meant to make massive impact. And right now, we don't have a ton of members. I'm grateful for the members we have. But I found myself coming into this state of the ego because I was like, why isn't it big? Why, can't I be big like so-and-so and blah, blah. And of course, red flags left and right, judgments and hierarchy and all that. But because I got intentional and unpacked that, I was able to realize the small and the all. So when we're in the illusion experiencing, we think of hierarchy, right? That something's small and big. But the reality is, to the Holy Spirit, your highest self, it's all just as impactful. So if I only ever helped myself by making these videos, is just as impactful to me helping millions in the eyes of the Holy Spirit. But if I wouldn't have been intentional and unpacked that, I would have just continued to put shame and guilt and what's wrong with me and why can this person do that and why can that, instead of being able to see, it's all just as beautiful. That's intentional living. You really are able to begin to see the beauty in everything, but only through active intentional living that you bring awareness and curiosity and all that to what is going on. Where are you not being intentional? Where are you going to start being intentional? Share. And also remember to share what would you like to see about videos? Where are you struggling? What are areas that you're like, man, Ashley, I want you to dig deeper on this. And also a reminder, once a month, we have a live discussion. Patrick's on there, I'm on there, and whoever else is a part of the Right-Minded Thinker level in Patreon. It is a beautiful time to just have that open dialogue in the moment, in the present, connect one-on-one together to bring us together. So please, if you're interested in that, check it out. It's, again, in the highest tier membership, Right-Minded Thinker. We would love to see you there. It's such a beautiful time and so many realizations come through. It's just a beautiful think tank. Oh, thank you so much for tuning in today, friend. Intentional living is really the definition of everything we are working on every day, but sometimes we miss it and realize that intentionality, even in the smallest things, is super important. It can help us to understand the bigger things because remember, no thing is big or small. All right, as always, remember you are worth it. So much love. Thank you. Bye.